I know you want to lose some fat, but I want you to do it the right way because the right way means that not only are you going to get in shape, you are also going to stay in shape. Now, my last video introduced the three-part framework or the three B's that I use to get my clients in shape, but also keep them in shape. And of course, it's the same framework that I followed that allows me to look like this. That's not bad. It's not bad. So it's the three B's. We've got burn, we've got build, and we've got become. But we are going to focus on the first part, which is burn. And of course, it is about losing fat, but for me, it is way more than just losing fat. It's much more important than that. So, by the end of this video, you're going to know what burn is. You're going to know why people get stuck at burn, the mistakes they make, and how you can avoid being one of those people, because that's the most important bit, isn't it? You want to get in shape, but you want to be years down the line and still be in shape. It is kind of what it says on the tin. You burn the body fat, but there is more to it. You are laying the foundations to getting in shape. It isn't just simply trying to lose fat. We are introducing some super important habits that are going to serve you for the rest of your life. Let's start with the expectations that you have always had in a fat loss phase and the things that are 100% holding you back. And let's manage and change those expectations so we can actually make some progress this time round in our burn phase. So the first expectation you have is fat loss is going to happen quickly. We want it quickly. It's human nature, isn't it? Look, you can get a flipping Amazon parcel delivered on the same day. It's 2026. Everything happens like this. But unfortunately, fat loss just doesn't. I wish it did. I wish we could snap our fingers. Oh my God, I've got a six pack. But alas, it's going to take a little bit of time. And depending on how much fat you have to lose is going to dictate how long this is going to take. So it could be 8 weeks for some people. It could be 12 weeks. It could be 16 weeks. And I know you think that sounds like a lot of time, but think about it like this. If you do this part right, you can change the rest of your life forever. So 8, 12, 16 weeks is a drop in the ocean to the rest of your life. It's not that much time, is it? Is it? Come on. The next expectation you have is that you're going to be motivated the whole time in this burn phase, when in reality, after about 2 weeks, your motivation's going to fuck off. And you are going to have to start just doing things because you know it's going to benefit you in the long run, or doing things because you know after you've done it, it's going to make you feel good. So you're going to have to chuck your gym clothes on and go to the gym because you know after you've got that session done, it's going to make you feel good. Our brain is so good at talking us out of doing the hard things in that moment, but then it loves it once we've done that hard thing. It's a bit of a head fuck, but do the thing even when you're not motivated. The next expectation we have is that progress is going to be linear, or that the scales are just going to drop week on week on week. And unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. It'd be nice if we could predict that we're going to lose a kilo a week, but it just doesn't work like that. Loads of things can affect the way that the scales go. So no matter what that number spits out at you, you have just got to keep going, because if you are doing all the right things, if you are nailing the basics, if you're doing your steps, counting your calories, eventually you will see a downward trend, and that is the most important thing. And finally, the expectation that you're not going to struggle, or this isn't going to be hard, or you're not going to be hungry or tired, or there's going to be no difficult days, is unfortunately again not how it works. You have to expect that some days are just gonna feel fucking hard, almost impossible. But what I always say to my clients is give it your best on that day. It's not going to be perfect, but please give it your best. Keep going. Ultimately, all of these expectations, if you just keep showing up, doing the right things, then you will see progress in the end. Now that we have covered those expectations and hopefully managed some of them and changed them, let's talk about the approach that you often take and the approach that I take and the approach that I take with my clients that works in the long run. So you are an all or nothing merchant, aren't you? You like to be perfect. You think everything needs to be nailed. And guess what? You can't be consistent, or you can't keep that up for longer than 1 or 2 weeks at a time. And then you think, oh, everything's gone out the window, so I'm just going to give up. When in reality, what I want you to think about is being 80 to 90% consistent. So we're not aiming for perfection, we're aiming to be 80% consistent, because 80% consistent for 16 weeks is going to beat 100% consistent for 1 week and then doing nothing for 4, isn't it? The next thing you do is try and make fat loss as miserable as possible. You take all of the joy and all of the fun out of your life, and it's not your fault because that's what you've been told. When in reality, fat loss doesn't have to be completely miserable. Like I said, there are going to be hard days, but it doesn't have to be completely miserable. You can still socialize. You can still include foods you love. You just need to make the relevant sacrifices. And of course, there are going to be some sacrifices. You can't just eat what you want and do what you want and expect to lose fat. But you need to make the relevant sacrifices. And around those periods of time where we're going out or whatever it is, we need to be on it. The next approach is training every day or doing 600 hours of cardio, which sounds depressing as fuck. So let's maybe not do that and think about how we can make a diet and training routine fit into our life rather than completely turning it on its head. Because guess what? Again, after 2-3 weeks, it's going to feel so difficult and you're going to give up. So why don't we try and weave in this diet and training thing into our life? And I know that's difficult. So oftentimes you'll get a coach or someone to help you with that, because that is actually the hard part. And finally, you look for shortcuts or you do crazy crash diets like keto. And again, it's not sustainable. It's very hard to keep up in the long run. So instead of doing that, let's think about long term. Let's think about maybe changing our habits and behaviors long term. So we get 6 months, a year down the line, and this thing that we're doing, we can still do down there rather than going, oh, I'm going to just delete carbohydrates out of my diet forever. I'm going to eat meat and eggs for the rest of my life. I wonder why you can't keep that up. How strange. So we've managed expectations and we've spoken about the approaches that you used to take and hopefully the approach you're going to take now. So how do we execute? Well, normally you go hell for leather Monday to Thursday. You drop your calories super low. You're doing millions of steps. You're hitting that cardio, and then the weekend comes around and you treat it like a flipping mini holiday. It's basically a free for all. You stop doing all the things that you know are going to contribute towards your success. But you get to Monday, you haven't made any progress. You think, well, I've definitely been dieting this, because you're getting all the feelings of being on a diet, because you're going hard Monday to Thursday, but you're undoing all that over the weekend by treating it like a mini holiday. So here's what I want you to do instead. Why don't we be a little bit more consistent over the 7 days? So rather than go mental Monday to Thursday, why don't we think, oh, maybe I'll include a little bit of chocolate on the Monday, or I'll have a pint on the Wednesday. So when the weekend comes, we don't feel like we need to just get that dairy milk and ram it down our throat because we haven't had chocolate for 4 days. Let's find a bit of a better balance, shall we? The other thing I need you to think about is if you miss a workout or you have a bad day, do not let that become a bad week. It's already happened. So we need to let it the fuck go. In the famous words of Elsa, let it go, put it behind us and do the next thing, take the next step towards making progress. In sport, we call it next job. All right, you've conceded a try, you've lost the last point. What is the next job that I can do that's going to move me forward? Think about it like that. And finally, and this is the biggest one, you are winging it day to day, week to week. You've got no plan, you've got no structure, and you've got no one to hold you to account. So, guess what we're going to do? We're going to start planning our week. We're going to add some structure, and we're going to try and introduce some level of accountability. So instead of winging it day to day and just hoping you're going to be in a deficit, instead of winging it day to day and just thinking, oh, I'm going to make it to the gym 5 times a week, let's start planning our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Let's start thinking about when we're going to do our gym sessions. Let's start thinking about, oh, I can get out at lunch and go and do my steps. Let's start putting our water bottle in front of us on our desk at work so we actually drink some water. All of these things are going to contribute to success because instead of just winging it, we're starting to add a bit of structure. We're starting to plan. And that accountability that we spoke about, now that can come from a friend, it can come from a partner, or the gold standard is coming from a coach. And I know you're thinking, oh, of course he's going to say that. He's an online coach and he wants my money. Look, I specialize in helping people wade through the hard days and the shit days because they're the days where people give up and they never make it to where they need to be. So if you have a good coach, they are going to make sure you make it through those hard shit days and you keep going till you get to where you want to be. That is why accountability is so important. So we have covered your expectations. We have covered the approaches that you normally take. And we have covered how we need to execute them. Now let's think about what success actually looks like. And you have previously thought success looks like a number on the scales and being able to maybe see some abs. When in reality, it is so much more than that. If that is the only thing that you have achieved on this burn phase, then you have done it wrong. A successful burn phase ends with knowing how to lose fat in the right way. It ends with, and this is the biggest one, trusting yourself and being able to believe in yourself because you have done what you said you were going to do and you have achieved a result which you believed maybe you couldn't do, but you've proved yourself that you can do it. And for me, that is massive. You've ended up with some amazing habits that are going to serve you for the rest of your life and better routines. And probably the most important thing, the number on the scales and the fat loss is pretty irrelevant unless it brings you confidence. So that is confidence to go into social situations. It is confidence to go and ask for that job promotion. It is confidence when you're putting your clothes on in the morning and you're not hoping that it covers your belly. It is confidence to go and ask that person out on a freaking date. That's what comes with the fat loss and the number on the scales. It's not that, is it? It's the confidence that it gives us. It's the person that we are starting to become. And the boring bit, you're probably going to be a little bit more healthy, aren't you? Burn is not about just losing some fat. You are laying the foundations for these habits that are going to serve you for the rest of your life. And you're building these to become that person that always stays in shape. Now, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe or whatever it is on YouTube. I'm very new to this because in the next video, I'm going to talk about the next phase. So burn sets you up beautifully to go into the next phase of build, where you start building these habits that are going to allow you to stay in shape forever. And that is the goal, isn't it? It's not, oh, I wish I could lose some fat. It's, I wish I could lose some fat and keep it off.